Even when Clinton went to Africa, they didn't show cities. That's like if I show somebody pictures of the United States, I show them pictures of Nebraska and Kansas. That's all I show them, right? All I show them is Kansas. They say, Dad, y'all ain't got no trees in America. I said, no, ain't no trees in America, right? all they will see is Kansas and Nebraska. So when you show pictures of Africa, and all you show is the bush, all you show is the countryside, that's all you show. Why do they do that? Because it fits into their justification for raping Africa. You see, Africans are backwards. They're backwards. And since they're backwards, it's the white man's burden to civilize them. And so that becomes a justification to take their land, and they still do it to this day. Where else do you see it today? Iraq. Why do they say they're in Iraq? They're teaching people how to govern themselves. Now, Iraq, hey y'all, this is like Babylon, Mesopotamia. Like they got like a 5,000-year history. So you would think 5,000 years, they kind of know how to run things. But in imperialism, white supremacy, we have to do this because we have to teach them how to govern themselves. White supremacy. Rudyard Kipling wrote, it's the white man's. Now look, they use every one of their institutions to justify imperialism. They used religion. They said, well, you know, Noah had these sons. And Noah got drunk one day. That must be believe it. But Noah got drunk. These people got drunk. And he was laying up on the ark naked, isn't the Bible? He was laying up on the ark naked. And one of his sons came in and saw him and laughed at him in his nakedness. Another one of his sons didn't look at him, took a blanket, walked backwards, he wouldn't have to look his father in that state, and covered his father up. When Noah, his opponent, woke up, he saw what had been done unto him by the son who laughed at him. The son who laughed at him, name was Ham. And Noah said to Ham, you shall forever be a servant of your brother, the one who walked in backwards. You didn't look at him. You shall forever be a servant of your brother. The slave owners told us we were the descendants of Ham. Y'all heard that? The descendants of Ham, right? And Ham was black. That's where we come from, black. And so that's why you deserve these slaves. They used religion to justify white supremacy. They told us this is the Son of God. This is God's Son. And he gave us a picture of him. He was blonde hair and blue eyes. So if that's God's Son, he got to at least look a little bit like Pops. You know what I mean? And so then they showed Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel, and he painted an image of God. It was a white man. Justification. White supremacy. You have to take it. You need us. You need us. And so religion was used in white supremacy. Science was used. Find the book, even the rat was white. But Dr. Guthrie, in which so-called scientists were coming out with these theoretical opinions, statements, saying that the Negroid has a hip that is such and such as this. And since the Negroid has a hip like this, the Negroid is more like animal-like. Right? You know, Darwin, evolution, right? We started off with gorillas. You see, in the gorilla phase, they were not. And they reached the heightened phase of humanity. That was Europe. And that's what they told us. That's what they taught us. Justification. White supremacy. Their movies were based on white supremacy. You know, the black man always got to get eaten by the alligator. Tarzan, the king of the jungle. White man. And he's the king of the jungle, right? And so we saw these images. Africa, black. You know what I'm saying? There's Tarzan. White supremacy. White supremacy is still their policy to this day. White supremacy. So white supremacy becomes a justification for imperialism. This is why we have to take your land. You need us. What is the instruments they use to bring it about? Two. The Republicans use one, and the Democrats use the other. What did Malcolm say? The Republicans was the wolf, and the Democrats were the foxes. He said both from the dog family. said the wolf is a wolf, you know, just where he's coming from. The fox is slick. The Republicans, their instrument for imperialism, war. War. Over 700 military bases in the world today, in over 130 countries. 700 military bases. If you took the amount of money that every country on this earth spends on military and put it together, 55% of that would be the United States of America. Oh no, because see, in order to have an empire, you've got to have an army. Because people ain't going to want you to control their country. So violence has to be something that is natural. Violence has to be something that you have to do. And what are the most favorite sports in America? The violent ones. What are your favorite video games? The violent ones. What are your favorite TV shows? The violent ones. Violence has to be a part of the culture. Why? Because as an empire, we have to use violence all the time to keep our empire in check. The Democrats can say, oh, just give them alone. Just give them a loan and put interest on it that they can't pay back. And just put it in. They're going to kill you. We're going to put you to death. But imperialism, taking over another people's country, stealing their land and resources, justifying it with white supremacy. We can do this. We have to do this. It is our manifest destiny. Y'all class that day. Manifest destiny. It is God's will that we control from sea to shining sea. From the west coast, from the east coast to the west coast, it is God's will that we control them. And so the Indians must be annihilated. It's God's will. We'll bring on God and we'll civilize them. White supremacy. Now, in all of these institutions, the religion, the science, the history, the media, you must understand that imperialism, that's a part of this culture, it is so intricately linked in every aspect of this culture. You cannot underestimate it. You can't underestimate it. This is the reason why America will never be able to produce real leaders in their political institutions. Because every leader has to support empire. You've got to support empire. They can talk all about they want. And democracy. And us the people. And you've got to support the empire. If you don't support the empire, you ain't going to last. Because it's all about empire. Now, they forgot to tell us that the American Revolution was fought against imperialism. They were fighting against bureaucrats. And if you listen to the founding fathers, they be thrown. They be delivered, they be death, they be thrown. You know what I'm saying? They fight against the bureaucrats. Because King George was using them as a colony, right? They were colonies, another 13 colonies, right? They were fighting against the bureaucrats. Those were imperialist wars. That's why they were talking like militant stuff. That kind of thing, right? They were fighting against imperialism. Well, the fight that they made against imperialism won. Now America today is the biggest, strongest, richest empire in the world. Britain had nothing from it. And they set the sun number 7 in the British Empire. Rome had nothing from America. Nothing. This is the biggest, strongest, richest empire in world history now. In 1890s, 1900, do you know there was a national dialogue in this country as to whether or not America should become imperialist power? They had a dialogue in this country. Whether America should become imperialist power. Do you know one of the groups who were against it? White Christian Muslims. You know why? Because once they saw the effects of imperialism on their sons when they went to the Philippines. They asked the general in the Philippines, the American general, they asked them, how young do we start killing the Philippines? How young do we go? The American general said, start from 10 years old. He said, start from 10 years old. And so these white Christian mothers saw how their sons had basically turned into murderers.